Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. It may be Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon, wherever you are. Either way, it's kind of a brunch time. My name is Jaypeg, so welcome to our brunch date. I did not know if you knew this was a date. I did just want to explain that we are, in fact, on a brunch date right now. But hello, and welcome to Lady Arcader's Attract Mode. If you are not sure what that is, Lady Arcaders is an all-women's gaming collective. Lady Arcaders welcomes all women in gaming, speedrunners, developers, and casual fans alike. And in addition to our cozy private community, we run weekly showcases on our Twitch channel, as well as larger charity events throughout the year. And guess what? This is one of those weekly showcases, like we mentioned. So this is going to be Alone in the Dark New Game Plus, with, oh my gosh, what is her name? Emily is the name of the character. I'm so sorry, but I am clearly just waking up. However, you know who is not just waking up and is bright and ready to go is our wonderful Astrid the Horror Girl, who is going to be running this fantastic game with our wonderful BigScared on commentary. So when you are ready to not be alone in the dark, Astrid and Big, whenever you're ready, take it away.
Hello, I am Astrid the Horror Girl, and I'm here to run Alone in the Dark, New Game Plus, no major glitches, as Emily. And joining me is the wonderful and incredible and fantastic BigScared.
Hello, I'm BigScared. I am once again summoned to the fray to support my friend Astrid and vibe and talk about scary games and maybe be convinced to run this by the end of this.
That is the hope. See. That is the hope. That BigScared goes, gosh, Astrid, that did look like fun. I think I will, and it'll be great. But yeah, I've really enjoyed running this game, and I am excited to show it all to all of you. So basically, the timer does not start when the game starts here. It actually starts when we do the character creation, which happens after this cutscene that we are going to skip. So here's the character creation. Here's Emily. So I'm going to choose Emily in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Timer start. And now we are playing as Emily, and we are going to begin here with chapter 1 and go for it. And as you can see, I'm leaning forward because that's the dodge function in this game. That is how you move quickest in the game, is by dodging. So we're just stringing our dodges together. And if you do it also, you kind of just go through, but you need to make sure that you're pointing the right direction, because Emily only dodges in straight lines. So you want to make sure you're heading the right way. So you do a course correction with some running as well. But that's basically most of the movement in the game. We'll get to some other stuff. Until then, I'm just getting this key, and I have to grab another key as well at some point, but that's the movement tech for the start of this game so far. BigScared, why don't you tell people what's going on? Why are we here? What's happening? Who's Emily?
So Emily is she's a single woman from, I want to say, New York State. Or maybe it was Chicago. I don't remember exactly which of the two cities it is. But she's from a major city in the north. She's come to the south to visit her uncle Jeremy, who is here at Darsetto. Darsetto is an asylum. He has mental and emotional problems, and so he's here for the support that he needs. But she hasn't heard from him in a while, and we're here to investigate what's going on. Now, when she and Detective Carnby arrived, they found out that he's been missing for a while. And so the investigation really starts here. We're trying to figure out what's going on, where is our Uncle Jeremy, what's going on with him specifically, and also what's going on here at Darsetto, which has a storied and rich history of a lot of weird and interesting things. Of course, we're going to discover all of that through obtuse trigger hunting, some puzzling, some lore notes, and a couple conversations with choice people. But in the meantime, we are getting thrown back in time and possibly to another dimension where we're in New Orleans for some reason.
Yes, suddenly we are in New Orleans. I opened the puzzle box and also the detective was looking at a really weird painting of Jeremy that looked like he was like being taken somewhere, and then we looked outside. The detective was gone, and we were in New Orleans. So, and now there's monsters everywhere. That's a whole thing that has happened. We are now going to this store that we recognize. We go in, and one of the people who works at Dorsetto is in here as well, and gives us some keys to help us find Jeremy. So we're off, and yeah, we're on our way. There's monsters just kind of in the street. There will be very little fighting of monsters. I think we'll have to kill one that's not like a boss or something. We grab that hatchet. That's important. I'll come back to why the hatchet is important a little bit later. But yeah, right now we're just trying to figure out how do we get back to where we're supposed to be. We're kind of lost in New Orleans right now with all these monsters about. But it's okay, because thankfully the dodge button functioning as speed tech also just means that as we dodge, we also just go faster. It just works out perfectly like that. And now we have a talisman.
Can I just say that I think the reason that dodging is faster is because it looks like she's trying to like Naruto run every single time and then chickening out and then trying it again. So she's just getting the zoomies.
Gets them started.
Honestly waiting for her to just hit the gritty on us.
I would die happy for that. Thank you.
Good to see you again, Miss Hotwood.
So now we're back at Dorsetto. You might be wondering what that is. So part of the reason why Jeremy is here is because he has a vivid imagination. So vivid that he can apparently pull other people into these memories, hallucinations, delusions, whatever they are. That's where we were. And we'll be going back and forth between Dorsetto and these other places. That also explains the monsters, and it will also, to an extent, explain the behavior of other NPCs we encounter in those spaces. It doesn't quite explain what's going on here in Dorsetto, but if you keep this notion of like other planes of reality, other planes of consciousness, other realities becoming real and being made manifest, it all kind of works together in this eldritch sense, right?
Indeed. That was the room where our favorite lesbian was in. Sad.
Yeah, can we get an F in chat for not being able to engage in delightful conversation with our sapphic friend there?
Mm-hmm. It's very sad. By the way, this is why we pick up the axe, so that scenes where you have to walk slower, or scenes where you would have to like stand still and they like get scared, Emily doesn't believe in fear when she's swinging an axe, so we're just going. That is, you'll see it again here, like the scenery will change, and normally she would stand there, look around and be like, oh, the room changed, and just hang out and behold the room. But if you just swing your axe, she's, no, I don't have time for that, I'm swinging an axe right now.
Honestly, relatable.
Mm-hmm.
Love it when games have the same speed tech as Silent Hill Downpour, right? Like, you get out of
not playing Silent Hill Downpour.
Yes. It's like forced walking. No, I'm swinging an axe right now. You can't talk to me about that. Got puzzles to do? I'm gonna dodge into them.
Mm-hmm. What's that? Absolutely. Oh, stop looking at that. Okay.
So you noticed earlier there was a slide/moving things around puzzle. Right now, Astrid is going around the map collecting pieces for the next one of those.
Yes.
Puzzles in this game generally come in a couple flavors. There are the slide/moving things around puzzles because they're not exactly a slide puzzle. There are the talisman puzzles, which are a mixture of positioning and code. There are also map-based puzzles / imagery. If you were running Carnby, it'd be an image and not necessarily a map, where you have to place images in a specific sequence. And then there are also traditional, like, Metroidvania-like, find the item you need to get into the area you need to be in type of puzzling. So, while this is a survival horror game, I think of this much more as like a survival puzzle game because the combat, it feels very secondary to the primary gameplay of finding things, unlocking things, uncovering the mystery.
Yeah, so especially because Astrid mentioned that we're only going to be like fighting like one regular enemy, and it does not sound exactly like leveling and stats is going to be a thing you have to consider at all. It's just moving through. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yep,
There's
just
no
moving.
leveling system.
Honestly, understandable and probably preferred. I don't want to have to think about stats in a horror game.
Exactly.
Now, a lot of people compare this to Resident Evil 2 Remake because there is 2 scenarios with 2 different gendered protagonists. But it doesn't quite have as much divergence as that game does, in my opinion. We can get into that later.
Yeah.
Did it break?
I understand the comparison. But one of the things I also like, because I'm a big Resident Evil 2 original fan.
That's just the whole
I
story, Jim.
really love Resident Evil 2. This one, however, feels more true to form for trying to be like the game that it is based on than Resident Evil 2's remake, which is trying to tell the story of Resident Evil 2, but in a new way. This one
Yeah.
is very serviceable to the fans that didn't want a lot to change, but maybe just the game to feel more modernized.
Yeah, this is very true to the original story and intentions of the game. And that's one of the things that I felt contested about when I was playing it, is like, oh, there are things about this that feel like a game from the 90s.
Yes.
Better and worse, right?
Yeah, for
In
better
both
and for
games.
worse, it is
Every-
exactly that.
For every bit of that is meant. It's like, I think that my favorite, this is definitely a horror game trope that's happening right now, is every single time you need to unlock a door with a key, it zooms really, really close in on that lock handle.
Yes.
You really need to see that, apparently.
Yes, it's important.
It's like the Resident Evil doors. Like, it's just, why do we do this? I don't know.
Unless you see the key physically inserted into the lock, how do you know it's unlocked?
Obviously, and they were going to do a character animation to show them putting a key in a door. No, absolutely not. That's gross.
Speaking of gross, the enemies in this section do have a ranged attack. It has tummy upsetty sounds, so if you're sensitive to that, feel free to lower your volume until we're out of the swamp, because that's when the spitting enemies will stop spitting on us.
Let's see. Here's a cutscene of Emily falling down.
Cool.
Yeah, and yeah, we're just gonna run past this friend and try not to pay attention to him. Sometimes the problem is that Emily really wants to pay attention to him, and I need her to not. Nope, see, Emily? No, absolutely not. You can play time with your friends later. Let's go. Yeah, because the game wants you to be locking on to things when you're swinging a weapon. So, but I just want Emily to, like, knock things out of the way. That's all. And when you're fighting enemies with your weapons, they have durability tests on them, so your weapons will not last forever. If I lose my axe, I can only lose my axe by hitting it against enemies. If I do lose it, I have to find another one. And that can take me a little bit off the route. So I don't want to hit the enemies at all. I just want to ignore them.
How tight is it for that? Like, is it like if you end up hitting like 2 or 3 enemies, you're in trouble, or do you have a little bit of buffer?
As far as I can tell, you can probably kill one enemy with a weapon, and the moment you attack a second, it's gone.
Oh.
So it's a little bit rude.
Yeah, if you're lucky and you get a lot of critical strikes, a weapon can last for 2, maybe 2.5 enemies. The durability is really weak in this game, but in a casual setting, you don't really have to worry about that because they put so many melee weapons around the map that you can just sort of find one pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Look at our cool dog.
Yeah. That's a very
I
cool
love
dog.
cool dogs.
Could be friend.
Oh, he's nervous.
What's interesting is that in both Detective Carnby's story and Emily's, that guy shows up, but you only ever see that guy again in Emily's story.
Yeah, I mentioned divergence in story a little bit earlier. Emily's story is much more focused on her personal trauma. We're going to skip a bunch of cutscenes. One of them is about our deceased husband. One of them's about our family upbringing. One of them's about our Uncle Jeremy. Whereas Carnby's is much more about, like, his problematic past as a detective and cop and the things that he endured in the line of duty. And so we see that enemy again in the cutscene during a sequence where Emily is recollecting her husband and his passing. And that's why we don't get to see it again in Carnby's scenario. You'll notice Astrid walked past the shotgun there.
Yes.
There's a reason for this. Apparently, if you pick up that shotgun, it causes more enemies to spawn in certain situations. And so it is faster to not, even though it is a superior weapon compared to a pistol or an axe.
It is, but like also said earlier, we don't really need to fight the enemies in the first place. So yeah, the shotgun is kind of unnecessary. It would only come in handy for like one of the boss fights, but even then, by the time we get to that, we'll have a different weapon to deal with it.
Yeah, and especially since we're getting the Grace ending, our need for
Yes.
munitions is much less considerable.
Okay. We're now finding more pieces to another puzzle that we're going to have to do. By the way, there are... Normally, you have to find more pieces to solve the puzzle to get the code for that cabinet that I opened up that are also scattered around. But if you just know the code to that cabinet, you can just open it up like I did and like I did one time before as well. And you don't need to do all that too, because the codes are always the same. So, yeah, we just kind of sequence breaking, as they say.
So on that note, how much RNG is in this run?
The RNG is mostly focused on enemy movements, as well as, and this is the annoying one sometimes, the ammunition and the health is randomized where they're picked up. Sometimes you're like, it's okay, I'll grab health over here, and then you get pistol bullets, and you're like, cool, thanks. And that can be, it's usually not bad. It's more or less, it's usually just, darn. But it's not normally a big deal, but it could be. I haven't had a run die to that yet, but like, I can conceive of it in my mind where it could. That is definitely a thing that has a chance of happening, though a very low one.
Is he good?
Yeah, he's fine.
Just
fine.
just budding, you know?
Yeah.
That was Jeremy, by the way.
That was fine.
Yeah. We found him. We were looking for him, and we found him. All right,
So-
this puzzle.
Our puzzles are like, do puzzles basically already always have the same like starting configuration?
Yes, they do. The puzzles are always the same. They're just tricky to remember.
Well, yeah, especially because it's a lot of pieces.
Yeah.
Like, this is rather complex.
This one in particular casually took me so long to figure out.
Yeah, it's rough the first time through. And all those numbers and codes are all the same every single time too. Because normally you put that in and you have to go look for the combination. But yeah, like those numbers are always the same. So on the speedrun, it's always going to be the same thing that you put in.
I'm in another one of Jeremy's streams.
This might even be the apex survival horror game, and here's why. It rewards you for solving a tedious fetch quest puzzle with another tedious fetch quest puzzle.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's this?
And then guess what? You solve that one, here's a third one.
There we
This is
Although
just what
I
survival
love the
horror is.
medallion one. It's
Yeah.
so good.
Me too. This is one where there's a great chance of losing our axe because of this little part here. We want speed, so we want to be swinging our axe as I had shown, because otherwise we're just kind of wading through the water. This guy has a tendency to be annoying. Please do not get in the water. Okay, that worked perfectly.
Beautiful.
Sometimes, because he's supposed to wait up there, sometimes he doesn't, and sometimes he's like, I'll just stand in the way where you cannot get by, and then you have to hit him with your axe, and then your axe usually breaks. So he cooperated for us on Lady Arcaders here, which is nice.
I know what I should be looking at is like the lighting in this and how like the lighting is really dramatic and everything. But instead, every time that Emily goes through like a particularly well-lit door, I'm like, she's got really great highlights in her hair. Like,
It's
who
true.
did this?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. I just keep noticing like her hair is really beautiful, especially considering that I would look like a bus hit me at this point in the plot, I'm pretty sure.
We're gonna wait for this to just leave the doorway, because we are gonna go in the fire. We are not afraid of the fire.
No, we have an axe.
Yeah. The fire does damage us, but it doesn't stop us. And on this difficulty, it's not enough to kill us. So now we have Emily, but covered in soot.
The fire damages you but doesn't stop you. It's just like real life. Don't test that, please, everybody. I'm begging you.
This is a PSA.
Don't run through fire.
Now we are truly alone in the dark.
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, are you supposed to have like a flashlight or something?
Oh, I
through some
do,
of these
but
spots?
you know, the button to
Yeah.
turn on the flashlight's all the way over there. And
far.
yeah, and I can just go fast. It's fine.
Yeah. And this does not appear to be one of those horror games where, because I think, gosh, doesn't like Amnesia Rebirth and stuff like that, and Call of Cthulhu, like if you're in the dark, you start to get all panicky and
No.
okay.
Nothing
They were
like that in this one.
Yeah.
You're fine in the dark. It would be
Yeah.
weird if you weren't in the name of Alone in the Dark.
Yes.
I made it out.
In fact, we almost feel more comfortable there as the NPCs treat Emily strangely, to say the least.
Yeah, the NPCs in this game definitely have plans. They're planning a party at the end of this, right?
Yes.
And they're inviting a very special lady, who is a little notorious, a little rambunctious, maybe not entirely invited, but she's still invited, you know? We're throwing a party for her. And Emily doesn't really know this yet, but eventually we're gonna see that party, maybe.
All back to normal.
Maybe.
We'll see
Something
the
will
gathering
happen.
for the party.
We'll
You
see
get to
the planning process.
Yeah. You get to see. So this game has 4 endings, and one of those endings you get to enjoy the party with everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty nice. You know? However, we are not doing that ending. The ending that we
No.
are doing, we're just we're seeing a different side of things, you know?
Yeah, we got invited to a party, but this ending says we're gonna go to a show instead. It's gonna be beautiful.
I'm really excited and interested with the way that y'all are describing this to see how it plays out. Just did a cute little bit of stargazing.
Yep. And now we're doing a puzzle.
Is this wait?
This
Oh,
is
for a
the
second it
Fibonacci
looked-
sequence. Yeah.
It also like low key looked like Taurus for a second, which is just like the letter Y, and I was like, hello?
Okay. Great. So where is that?
All right. Please open. Yeah. The only NPC that I like how treats Emily is the lesbian character, because she's great. And yeah, I like how, like, I just want to point out, Emily seems like she's like, okay, I like that this woman seems to be into me. It's a shame that I'm looking for my uncle right now because yeah, she's great.
I mean, honestly, the lesbian character being really cool to you just proves that lesbians, in fact, stay winning.
Yes.
And they were right to do this.
Yes.
Now, I actually wondered when I played this through whether or not the lesbian was also going to be flirty with Carnby. The answer is no.
Yeah.
She is not. She's not mean to him, but she's very, like, chilly and standoffish. Whereas with Emily, they're sharing a cigarette, they're playing footsie, there's romantic tension and flirting and one-liners. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so good.
It's so good. And yeah, it made me really happy to see that she wasn't that way with Carnby as well, but not like, she wasn't like a jerk. It was just like, no. But like Emily, she was interested in Emily, and I love to see that. Now we are in a place called, oh my god, it just left my eyes. It's Tarawea, yes.
yes.
This is a grand library with, when I first played through this, I was so sure that these statues that you see were gonna like do something to me. I'm so glad they don't, because I was going through this when I first played through, like, so slowly, like, so sure those statues were gonna do something. However, we are gonna have a run-in with one of the villains of this game here, the Dark Man. This is where the game gets the loudest of the entire game, is this whole segment where we are trying to escape from the Dark Man. And there he is.
This is a neat character design. I'm always down for a good old-fashioned, like, floating mask situation.
Oh, yes.
It's endlessly fun to me.
So if you're curious about the lore of the Dark Man, this is a figure that Jeremy met when he was something like 9 years old at a circus. The Dark Man is a magician that carries around a sarcophagus. He claims to be a pharaoh, and he did dark magics that left Jeremy the sole survivor of that incident. As penance for his survival, he agreed to be a sacrifice to save the rest of the world. And that's why he is in this situation, because Jeremy is on the run from the Dark Man who has come to collect him.
Yeah, that all checks out. I'll immediately apply that to my worldview. Thank you.
I went through the threshold but didn't go in because the Dark Man spawns in there. So you can get in there and tank the damage the Dark Man does to you to get up the ladder, but as a safety strat, I'm just not doing it because you can very easily die there. So I'll take the the 15-second loss there, but you can absolutely make it. It's just it's a little bit up in the air if you make it or not. You can get it consistent, but I don't think it's like showcase/marathon safe, as they say.
Yeah, the unfortunate reality of the Dark Man is if you get a little too close, he will fart on you and you will die.
Yes, that is true.
You know, he didn't seem to speak much, so what you're telling me is that he is in fact silent but deadly?
Indeed, indeed.
So we came here for, y'all? Fart jokes?
There she is, there she is. Oh, there she
yes, I'm sorry, but yes, there she was.
goes. So in that cutscene we skipped, our sapphic friend is very interesting because she is the one who physically teleports us from the bar in Darceto to this dock. And she does so by standing up. It's amazing. The transition is beautiful. Please experience it casually. We didn't get to do it here, but I want to call it out. But we are here on the docks, trying to find our way to the next area, potentially through this vision.
Important chat question. Is the Dark Man a lesbian supporter?
As far as I can tell, the Dark Man, he's fine with it because he's fine with everything. Seemingly just like... So I want to point out that whole Dark Man scene, we're not running from him. We're just trying not to be near him. He doesn't actually care that we're there. It's not like a chase scene.
Yeah, he's just going on a fart walk.
Yeah. So as far as the Dark Man is concerned, like, lesbian's gonna lesbian, and that's fine. It's not his concern. He's reading books in a library, you know?
He might be reading books about lesbians. We
Could
don't
be,
know.
yeah.
Yeah. At this point in the story, it's a little nebulous whether or not the Dark Man even perceives Emily.
Yeah.
Again, more sludge. This is the sludge that is the bane of my existence because at several points in this particular sewer, we're going to get flanked.
Yeah, this is the only enemy that we're going to kill, is this one, because we can't really do a better way around this dude. That's the only enemy that we kill that's not like a boss-like figure.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate that they gave this character design knee-high boots, because that always bugs me when characters go through like really sludgy areas in like low-top shoes.
We made it inside the warehouse.
I feel you on that one.
Don't know why. I just really hate it.
Yeah.
No, I'm on your side, Jaypeg, 100%.
Imagine a horror game protagonist that's wearing those like rubber waders. So when you go through the sewer sludge section, they're like, I'm fine, actually.
Yes.
Now, Astrid mentioned that because we don't have the shotgun, we will need different munitions. There it is. There's the Tommy gun.
Yep.
Which is personally my favorite weapon in the game.
Yeah, it's so good.
Theater where Jeremy first met.
Yeah, we're also not really going to use it for the run except for the very end of the game. And it's so great because it just mows down the final enemy, pretty much. It's just like, oh, everything's been building up to fighting this dude, and then you just Tommy gun, and it's great. So this is the place where Jeremy met the Dark Man all those years ago. Was in this lovely show. Remember this hallway and staircase, by the way. You will see it one more time at the very end of the game. And yeah, we're going to a place where it's a theater. There's a stage performance where supposedly the Dark Man was performing. There's Jeremy. We have a conversation with him, and he's the one that tells us, oh, I'm cursed by the Dark Man.
At least hidden somewhere inside the
Shout out to sad boy Jeremy.
Yeah,
I just need to
pretty much.
somehow.
All right, we got a dope sarcophagus here to check out.
There we go.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
Little
Yeah,
did
this
you
is something
know,
we should do.
we're playing your favorite game, Jay.
Yeah. Forewarned, baby!
Now, if you rolled up looking for artifacts at this beach, how would you feel?
Me personally, I would feel right at home, like you mentioned. However, that perma eclipse is certainly doing something.
It does bode, doesn't it?
It might even forebode,
Oh.
but it certainly bodes.
We're about to have our second clear indicator that this is a survival horror game. Astrid just walked past a hole, and we need the
Yes.
equipment to descend into the hole properly and safely.
Yes.
Unlike most protagonists, we are going to use safety equipment before we dive face first into this hole, but we will be diving face first into this hole.
Like truly face first and not like...
No, I'm
face
exaggerating.
first. Oh. See, listen, I would love a face first leap in a horror game, like a horror protagonist that's just like, you know what? And then just goes, oh, cool little skittery spider guys.
Now, we have to do some puzzling. There are several types of enemies in this area that Astrid's going to be dodging. The most obnoxious, in my opinion, is the bats, because their behavior is a little erratic. In the meantime, she has to find different medallions to activate different lasers, which she will then point in a Legend of Zelda fashion to open doorways and or boxes to find more mirrors for lasers. This is the sequence that we're going to go through here.
Dang it.
And there's one of the bats.
Yeah, they are the worst. And also, it may interest you to know, BigScared, that we're actually not going to fight any of the other enemies because we're just going to skip their spawn triggers. So
Incredible.
It's just the bats that are going to be awful. That's it.
Incredible. Because casually, there are the normal enemies as well as the ones that can take your axe in one swoop. So the knowledge that it's just bats for the run is top tier, like chef kiss.
This is
It's
why
just
we
bad.
come over here
Yeah.
to this wall. You can just swing through and hit the stuff on the other side to make it go down, and then you don't have to
What?
go down the normal way. It's great.
Cool! I think you may have
Knowledge.
sold big on that moment right there.
It's one of my favorite things. It's just like, oh yeah, you don't even have to do this the normal way. You can just come down here because apparently your axe can just go right through and hit what needs to be hit.
I love video games.
Me too.
Also, yeah, this is straight up forewarned. Like, this, especially 1.0, which is the new one. Not for me to get into a different game, but
It's okay. Also because I've been playing a lot of Forewarned with my partner Puzzle. We've been playing it like every single night. And
Are you doing the beta?
yeah, we're waiting. We're waiting for that update to drop.
Yeah, the new maps are
Oh, I messed
an
up.
experience. But it rules. And it feels like this, although arguably sillier.
Yeah,
Right.
there's no thick, dumpy Magi in this
There is
temple, unfortunately.
no chunky booty man in this game.
But I will say this. There is an option for folks who have the pre-order / deluxe version of this game for you to equip the 1992 skins. And Emily's has an incredibly thick dumpy. I cannot say the same for Carnby, though. I'm so sorry.
He does have an incredible mustache,
It is.
True.
It's fantastic.
and he looks permanently furious. Like
It's true. It's phenomenal.
he's got Dad from Twilight anger face, like at all times.
Not the Charlie Swan.
Am I wrong?
Yo, you're so right.
He just looks greatly disappointed constantly.
All right. And so because of that, since we already got this artifact, what we're going to do is we have to go over here and be like, yes, I opened that door. Anyways, I'm just going to put that there, which is where it's supposed to be on its end position. because we already opened that door that we opened. We went around there earlier before we were supposed to. But the game needs to know that the laser went there at some point. So we just point it down there real quick and then point it to where it's supposed to be the second time. And now we are gonna finish this zone off. This is the wrong one. It's this one.
This is incredible.
And point this right here at the bottom. And that is going to do the classic maneuver of make the place start falling apart.
Yep, as is required, especially in anything that is like vaguely Egyptian inspired.
Yes.
It's like, oh no, it's crumbling.
Yes.
Which is fundamentally hysterical
Yes.
to me because of the fact that considering how much like ancient Egyptian architecture we have that survived, especially compared to other places, that every single like Egyptian horror trope ends with it falling apart. When like, no, we've all of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
It's so good.
Yeah. It's like, why did we do this? I think it's because everybody just wants it to be the Mummy real bad. Like,
It's true.
Yeah, if it's not the Mummy, it's Indiana Jones.
Uh-huh.
which both do the same thing.
Mm-hmm. All right, so chapter 4 is the chapter that is most noticeably different for the Emily and Detective Carnby playthroughs. But Emily's has a thing that makes her story go a little bit faster, which I will explain because, again, I'm trying to get BigScared to run this game, you see.
It's true.
So one of the first things that we're going to do is start heading on this way because we want to go outside. We have no time to wait. We have axe. All right. That door is blocked by a broom, though, so it just cannot be opened at all under any circumstances. There's a broom there.
Not even from the other side, if you were in a position to move the broom. It cannot be moved.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, cool.
Because I've tried. I've gotten to the other side of that door, and I'm like, can I just not? No. No, you can't. You always have to go around.
Yep.
Broom says no.
Let's see if I can get it. Yep, there's the broom.
There it is.
Oh, that pesky broom.
Now, normally
Most powerful object.
the game would want you to turn here to go into the offices, try to break in, get into a safe, get into these offices, and all that stuff, but we're not going to do any of that. We are going to go up here, start this cutscene, and this guy becomes extremely inebriated, and we just take this key off of him. This is normal. You're supposed to do this in the game, but this is a little bit out of sequence. You can always come and do this first, but you're not supposed to be able to do the thing that I'm about to do, which is one of my favorite things. We open the first floor corridor, and we're going to see the Dark Man at the end. This is supposed to freeze Emily in place, but I absolutely don't care. We are going to go up to the Dark Man, and we are going to get into this room.
Oh.
Pardon me,
This is
sir.
huge.
Yeah.
Because this door gets locked, and you're not
Yep.
able to access it, like, once it closes after the Dark Man shows up.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So from there, now we can just go straight into the Emily backstory. Right from there.
Yeah, you just skipped a lot of
Yeah.
game. That's impressive. Okay.
Simply by
blown
swinging
Big's mind.
axe.
I'll find
Listen, I am a simple gamer. You say I can skip large section of game by swinging axe. I want to swing the axe.
It's working, everyone. It might be working.
I want someone to clip like a timeline of this, of like Big at the beginning being like, Yeah, like I might, and then like towards the end, like I want to see the emotional timeline that begins.
Oh, it's gonna be Whiplash because my first playthrough ended on a very I didn't enjoy this note. And then I played it again, I'm like, it's kind of okay. And then I played it again, I'm like, maybe. And then Astrid's like, you should run this. And I'm like,
Your sheer dedication to replaying games that you went, no, I didn't like this about like
So I have a philosophy.
considering Biomutant.
I'm gonna say this because I have a history of replaying games that I don't enjoy the first time through, and it's because I value game creators' work, and sometimes I'm just not in the right mindset for it, or I notice something and it grates my nerves, and so I give it another chance if it's playable to me, and then I see how I feel after that, and then I make my decision on whether or not it's a good game.
What a gracious perspective to have, and very like you must have a lot of peace compared to big game haters who play something once and decide it's the worst and spend their lives with a vendetta.
There are two games that I am a big game hater about, and I'm not going to talk about them right now because what even are we doing? Astrid?
We're not stealthing. Why would we need to stealth?
This is a stealth sequence, though. You're supposed to hide from the dog.
That's okay. We can just go fast.
If you're faster than the dog, does it matter to be sneaky?
You
So
can
their
be,
rules apply.
You
here.
can
You
be
don't-
instantly killed by them. That does
Oh.
not change. They can absolutely instant kill you, but there is a little bit of routing that you can do to try to make that not happen. I'm trying to figure out where he's at. Okay.
But I want to pet that dog.
Okay, we're good. Now we're just gonna get on through there. And there you go. Stealth section's over. This is the trenches in World War I. This game takes place in the 1920s. Basically, Emily is remembering her husband who passed away due to war-related illness. And the Dark Man is like, I want you to remember this, and is doing it in the most horrific way possible. So this is what Emily is forced to kind of basically confront. So now we come to the end here, we try the door. This is a scripted moment. You have to let Big Dog hug you. So we'll do it. I don't
What a good baby.
Yeah, I don't know about you,
gotta
but
let Big Dog hug.
I love when dogs jump at me like that. I think it's very cute.
Listen, the dog knew we were upset. It was providing emotional support. And I want to thank it for its service because this is the last time we'll see Big Dog.
Yes, absolutely.
Big Dog, thank you for your service. I'm saluting in front of my desk.
All right.
And there's our husband.
Yes. We're gonna
Hey,
skip that, and we're gonna
By
skip that.
war-related illness, did you mean like exploding disease? Because that's what that looked like was happening.
There's a little bit more there. I won't go super far into it, but that is basically. Oh, by the way, this puzzle's great, dude.
Neat.
Basically, Emily told people that he died in the war, but what really happened is he came home with Spanish flu and died. And so, war-related illness. Right now, there's this puzzle, and I'm just making sure that I'm doing... The puzzle pieces are not always in the right spot. And I'm just making sure that I have them in the right spot.
This is me designing a house in The Sims.
I mentioned earlier that this was a map-based puzzle. This is the map puzzle. In Carnby's scenario, it's pieces of artwork that have certain shapes on them that you have to match with the map underneath. So it's blueprints here. So I think this version is actually a little bit easier. but I'm sure there's others who disagree with me on this.
So here's why you can only do this on Emily's, because when Emily leaves, she arrives here. So you don't ever need to grab that key from the director's office, from the safe and everything, because Emily's story brings you right here.
Ah.
In Carnby's, you still have to do that, as far as I know. You still have to, like, even if you get into the room a little bit earlier, you
Brain.
go the normal way and go around and all that stuff. But since Emily's story ends with putting you right here, you don't have to worry about so much of what the game intends you to go through.
What's this?
Interesting.
So, are we now in like a military hospital situation? Like where? Because I saw like a scan of a brain and stuff like that.
This is still Derceto.
Yeah, this
Yes.
is a different
This
part
was,
of it.
yeah, this is the basement that was locked and would stay locked, but as you saw, Emily had a vision quest, and the vision quest ended with her down here. So, yeah, that is
Got
what
it.
occurred.
I
It's
mentioned
very
earlier.
hospital-esque.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier that Darceto has a history of its own. Part of that involves the fact that it is an asylum, so there is a medical facility on site. Some of that involves let's call it research. Let's call it research.
An asylum doing
yes.
questionable research?
In the 20s.
Patients
Yeah.
in the 20s?
Yes.
Who would have seen this coming?
So needless to say, after we leave the area where there is research happening on people's brains, we are launched immediately into one of Jeremy's visions/memories. This time we're on a boat.
Yes, we are on this boat. Here's another boat that we'll be on.
Thanks.
And yeah, I know. Boat helps us right on across. We have access to swing, Emily. You won't have time for that. Okay. Now we'll just do this little statue puzzle, and it is a cool rock. There it is.
That's just
and
a
then
little
the
guy.
code is. It is. So now we have that, and there's a little bit of movement tech coming down here. We're just going to run over here, drop down, and be spamming the dodge and axe over to the door, and it scooted us a little bit closer to the door. Sometimes you can get even closer than that, but you cannot move during this part.
Stuck in the mud.
We're
and
hearing
the fire was
Jeremy.
taking
Yeah.
me.
It's one of my favorite lines of the game. I'm
best
going to get that as a
one.
sound command.
Get the boat running. I'll get you out of here.
That's incredible. The drawl on that was
Yes,
The best.
I'm stuck in the mud and the bayou is taking me. I'm
so
so
good.
getting that as a sound command. This part's a little tricky. That part is, oh my god, the game was being very mean to me there.
Yeah.
You can normally get through that with a dodge and swing of the axe. Then you don't get stuck back there. And the game was like, you're supposed to be stuck back there, so I'll just get you locked in this grab. Rude is what I have to say.
it's rude. It's rude of the game to do this.
Honestly, these new enemies are my least favorite. They're so rude because
Yeah.
they're like hitbox is low. So if you're trying to do a melee attack, you have to actively aim down to hit them, but they can kind of just grab you from any angle.
That doesn't seem fair.
Yeah, they're awful. They also take a lot of hits.
Yes.
Like unreasonably so. Normally
They're
you think
spongy.
they are. Normally you think video games, the bigger enemies would take more hits, but no, the Alone in the Dark thought very differently about that philosophy. All right, so this is just some simple get gas can, turn off crank, go upstairs, fill gas can, and then pour gas can into thing, and then it's as simple as that. The hard part is coming back, and there's a lot that can go wrong on the way back of this part of the run. So once we have this done, there's going to be so many of those little enemies that are just going to be in the way, perfectly positioned so that we can't get around them. And we just got to try and outmaneuver them, which is not the easiest thing to do. You can easily lose like 30 seconds at this part. It's very mean.
Pretty dicey.
Yeah. This is one of the parts of the run I'm just like, and I gotta do this part again.
And you might be
There's that
wondering what the
guy.
purpose of starting that generator even is. We have to start the generator to activate the winch on a escape raft, which we'll be using to descend to a lower deck to get to the actual engine of the ship.
I like this
Yep.
goofy music that's happening.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
sure is a choice. This is what you'll hear when you're stuck in the mud and the bayou's taking you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. By the way, if you get off this boat too soon, you turn rubber band mode onto yourself. So you don't want to, you don't want to get off too soon. You want to time it as well as you can. Good machine gun ammo. Sometimes that is not machine gun ammo, and it is sad. Because we are getting near that time where we're going to want to have some ammunition for that beautiful gun of ours. So also, since we skipped that cutscene, it also skips a number of other cutscenes that normally try to play because the game's like, wait, you did all this? I don't understand. You did all the things that are supposed to happen now. Okay, I guess you're at the end of the game now.
Oh.
Welcome back to Darceto.
Mm-hmm. And here's where we get the retro vibe.
Yes, a static, fixed position, third-person camera.
This feels strange.
Mm-hmm.
Very strange.
This
So
camera
now
angle is
we-
so fun.
Oh, yeah, this is
It
so,
is.
like, old Resident Evil, like, fixed cam, Wanderer. I love that.
A secret door.
Yeah, this is one of the most obvious, biggest nods back to the original game, obviously. And one of my indicators for, like, no, you don't understand. Like, the people who remade Alone in the Dark loved Alone in the Dark. Like, they clearly really put love and care into this game. For them to even include this tiny little section like this, it very much shows that they wanted to preserve the feel of Alone in the Dark as much as they could, without making it like the still kind of extremely difficult to play way that it was back in the day.
Yeah, it comes off as like a love letter as opposed to a you did good, but like
Yeah.
no, we wanted to experience it again. Almost is what it comes off
Yeah.
as.
And this
Yeah,
little
which
moment
is
feels
why-
really satisfying too, especially since we're dealing with a narrative where we're like shifting perspectives, shifting realities. Having this be a flavor of that is refreshing.
Jeremy is with the dark now?
Yes.
Where? Who is he? What is
It's
the dark
it's
now?
cool how they merge things like this with the concept of the way that the game flows too. It just makes sense. It's a really cool thing that they did. Yeah, I really appreciate this game. All right, and here we go with this. All right. And this is one of my favorite moments of conversation. Whether you are playing as Emily or Detective Carnby here, The dialogue here is fantastic. As you can see, that closet has become sort of like a portal.
I tried calling the police.
Yeah,
But
that's what I figured.
whoever you're playing as, they're the only person that can see that portal. So the conversation is fantastic.
Hey, Mr. Carnby?
What?
Nothing, right?
Just nothing, right? It's a closet.
See you later. I have to think.
Instead of being like, no, I swear to God, I'm seeing this. It's like,
Yeah.
I gotta go.
All right.
Uh-huh.
You do what you have to do, miss.
He's like, okay, stand in the closet if you want. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, both of them being like, this might as well happen is extremely relatable.
Yeah.
Sparkle floor.
Yeah.
It's snow.
Little sparkly snow. Yeah. Now, normally you're supposed to light these like little checkpoints to see where you're going, but it's just a straight shot and the game doesn't care if you do it or not. So you can just keep going through the snow until you get where you need to be, which is a big old staircase at the end of this.
Wait, are you not picking up the flare gun?
Nah, we don't need it.
But how will I shoot flare? Oh
You
wait,
don't need it. It's fine.
I don't need
With
it.
your heart.
I'm at a scene from Hellboy.
Yes. Exactly.
Gamers, how many of you like portals?
Like nefarious ones?
Nefarious eldritch ones that maybe shouldn't be opened?
I fling myself into them gleefully and without remorse.
You and Jeremy have something in common then.
Awesome.
Yes.
Me and sad boy Jeremy, because every time we've seen Jeremy, he's been looking a little down in the dumps.
Well, he might be looking a little different.
Yeah, true.
Who are you? What do you
There's our friend Jeremy.
Yeah.
Watch him do this little rotate, this little spin. It's great.
Cool.
Whee!
Glad to know he got his Heelys fixed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, Jeremy. Are you trying to fling yourself into the Silent Hill 4 The Room spinning contraption in the center here?
Ow.
Somewhere Eileen is weeping.
Okay.
True.
Yes.
I'm just saying, look at it.
All right. All right, spinning contraption has let us in. We're going to put this sacrificial dagger that we never got because we never did those other things into the device. And
Dark man is gonna be
we are going to solve this
at least set everything.
by lining up these lines with each other.
Love this for us.
Yes. And then once we finish, we wait for the cutscene to start so that we can skip it. And then on to the final boss fight. All right, here we go.
You're
Final
zooming.
boss fight.
Now our friend here, they're having a time.
Wiggly arms.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so here's where also random ammunition can really suck. Sometimes it doesn't give you machine gun ammo here. I've had it happen to me once. And I hated that. All right, but yeah, we're just mowing through his health right now.
Can't get over these noodle arms. They gave you a final boss.
Yeah.
With the noodliest
Oh,
limbs of
he killed me.
Oh.
Oh,
It's been a bit. It's been a
Danger
bit since
noodle.
he's killed me.
danger noodles
Yeah,
indeed.
big danger noodle. Okay, skipping cutscene. Yeah,
you might be
his
wondering-
attack does a lot of damage.
Yeah. You might be wondering what these other pickups are. They're throwable. Some of them are bricks, some of them are Molotovs, some of them are just like oil that can be ignited. They're not all particularly useful. Some of them are, though. And so the gamble of picking them up is not always worth it, because then you get thrown into this, like, you have to throw the object animation that can be very frustrating.
And it's also worth pointing out that they're not always there. And sometimes that's all that's there, which is really sad.
Right.
All right.
What an
Yeah, I started the
interesting
fight and was just like, oh, my health was really low. Yeah, I don't know why they decided to do that, but it was very rude. All right, so we're going to skip this. And on to Chapter 5. Time is coming up pretty soon. We just have a couple of cutscenes to skip. And then we got to go and talk to Grace.
Yeah, we gotta find Grace at the party. I promised y'all. They've been trying to throw a party this whole time. We're here at the party prep, right? But unfortunately, we're not gonna stay for the party.
No. Grace, I have something for you to play with. So, what we did was, and you can only do this after you've beaten the game once, we give Grace this to play with. And there's Grace, and she is going to be having a good time with it. If you, oh, by the way, time. Sorry.
See?
Grace is playing with this, and yeah,
This is what
as
kids
you can
play with
see, we are
things.
in that place where we met the Dark Man. That's what all those stairways are.
Cool.
And I promised you a show, right?
Hey, kid. What are you?
Didn't you like it?
Uh-huh.
Nothing much.
Yeah. Anything?
Nothing much. I'm just throwing around a unique and strange artifact
You're bored.
down to the floor.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Little Nancy Drew looking.
you can take your mother away from the play.
And so we zoom out, and it turns out that Emily and Carnby are just a married couple, and Grace is their child, and they went to this play, and that's what the whole game was.
What?
The play was called Alone in the Dark. Didn't you like it?
Yeah.
Cool.
Great.
Now, normally the
Here's
final
the
boss
line.
at
Left me alone in the dark.
Oh God.
Whoa, what
So
are you-
normally the quote-unquote final boss that we fought for this run is not the final boss of the game. The party that we're normally invited to is a summoning ritual for an outer god.
Wow.
And the party is when she shows up. So we're obviously not going to go to that because that's time, right? It's more time in the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. We'll just go over there, and that's we just give the toy to Grace, and then the game is over. So there you go.
Now,
Okay.
did we pick that toy up at any point during the run, or did we just have it?
You do get it for it's one of the collectible things, but you get it immediately when you start a second playthrough of the game.
So you just kind of have it in your inventory the whole time.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's incredible.
Yes.
This is a video game.
But yeah, it is. That is Alone in the Dark. I hope that y'all enjoyed watching, and I'd like to thank BigScared for joining me. Hopefully, I have maybe nudged you and convinced you over maybe this is a fun game to speedrun kind of thing.
You have definitely piqued my interest. Stay tuned.
Okay, that's good.
All right, Astrid, where can we find you?
You can find me on twitch.tv/AstridTheHorrorGirl. I play horror games and I speedrun horror games, much like this. And that's pretty much what I do.
Awesome. And Big Scared, where can we find you?
I'm on Twitch as BigScared, or most places on the internet as either BigScared or I'm BigScared with no spaces or punctuation. I also play a lot of horror games. but I'm a little bit more of a variety type, so you'll catch me doing other stuff too. Yeah. Maybe speedrunning this.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Ooh.
Nudge, nudge. I don't know, Astrid. I thought you sold it pretty well. This was absolutely a delight to watch and just like equal parts scary and beautiful and goofy. And you did a phenomenal job at showing this off and entertaining all of us. So I really, really appreciate you both being here. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for being a wonderful host.
Aw, thanks. All right, y'all. We are going to go to our intermission screen. Do not go away as we have some announcements for you in just a little bit, but we are going to let these two wonderful humans who have just done such amazing work get up and stretch their leggies a little bit. So we will see y'all in just a moment. Thanks so much. Hello, friends. I'm sorry to leave you alone in the Twitch chat for a moment. I hope that you had fun watching that showcase. That was so amazing. Astrid and Big are just absolutely two of my favorite people and just delights to work with and to game with. So I really hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. And what a cool game, too. So here's the deal. If you liked that and you have something that you would like to show off, submissions for Attract Mode are always actually open. You can sign up to do this here yourself. So are you looking to record a submission video for an upcoming event maybe? You just want to show off a game that you're fond of? So get those submissions in ASAP if you want to show that off in May, because we only have a few spots left in May. You can find a link to submit that at ladyarcaders.com/start. We want to show off the games that you love in all the ways that you love them. Remember, this doesn't have to necessarily be a speed run. Challenges, just interesting things that you're doing and working on. We want to see that. So !AM for Attract Mode in chat for details. Speaking of Attract Mode, we do have another one coming up here. Our next one will be on Thursday, and that will be Beam Queen Soul speedrunning Kirby Fighters 2, which is a platform fighter and roguelike. So you can tune in to see our favorite pink protagonist take on a gauntlet of over 50 fighters as Kirby proves that he's the most powerful little guy in the universe. And I could not agree more. I adore the benevolent and omnipotent cake-loving god that is Kirby very, very much. So that's going to be a blast, and you'll want to tune into that one as well. And if you're liking these Attract modes and you'd like to see Lady Arcaders keep doing their thing, just as a reminder, the Lady Arcaders Super Showcase is coming back, and fundraising for CARE from July 25th to the 28th. The Super Showcase is a charity talent event. Again, not just speedrunning, talent. You're welcome to submit any type of showcase as long as it's game related. Do you want to go fast, do the zoomies, or even paint a mural of a game? That would be so cool. You want to compose some music live? We've had that happen. Bake a sweet roll from Skyrim. Show off your game dev skills. Submit it to the Super Showcase. We really want to see everything that you are passionate about. That is what the Lady Arcaders Super Showcase is for. We want to show you guys off. So submissions for showcases and volunteers are open until Sunday, May 5th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. And you can type in !class in chat for details, which our lovely Metroid Crime already did. Okay, my friends, that is the end of my updates. My name is Jaypeg. I have been your host for the day, and I hope that you had a good brunch date with me. I had a really great time. If you would like to catch me, maybe share some social media fun, you can find me on Twitter at @alsojpeg or on Twitch at jpeg_exe. I forgot my own name for a second. Don't question it. It's totally fine. Now, because we want to share the love, y'all, we are going to be raiding into the phenomenal Lady Arcaders stream known as Lana Ruse. So, you can stick around with us. We will be giving you a raid message to let you know what's going on, and have a wonderful Sunday, y'all. Goodbye.